Fingers.
Yes.
It was about a year ago, a little more than a year ago, that you and I sat right here at this very table. And our digital director, Sarah, said, you have to try this on the show. And it was the Redwood Empire.
The Redwood Empire.
It was, I believe it was the Emerald Giant Rye.
It was a giant rye.
Not just a giant rye, the Emerald Giant Rye whiskey. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. You were a fan of the Redwood Empire Rye.
I was. In fact, I believe it was on my top 3 list.
It was. Well,
You remembered.
I remembered because someone who listens to the show, who I did a favor for, said, you know what? I know Tony, and I know Fingers, and I know what they like. And I listen to the show, and I'm going to get them a bottle of that Redwood Empire. But it's not just the Redwood Empire. It's not just the Emerald Giant Rye Whiskey. It is the Emerald Giant Rye Whiskey cask-strength, coming in at 115.4 proof.
Oh,
The applause. Anything over 100 proof gets the applause. Fingers was a massive fan. It was a lovely pour. And I am a rye guy. So instead of 51% corn in the mash bill, it's 51% rye that takes place. In the cask strength, it comes in at 92% rye, 5% malted barley, and 3% wheat. Now, you might see this as a 1% wheat somewhere. It depends on the batch. So I believe that was batch 1. I think this is batch number 2, which is better than batch 1, but not as good as batch 3. I stole your joke, Fingers.
Thank you.
There it is. First things first. The color in the bottle on this is beyond gorgeous. Deep, rich. It's got a nice amber hue to it. In the glass, a little more orange than it is in the amber. Not much with the viscosity. We've got this in the Kinsey glass. We replaced the Glencairn glasses with these, and we'll have our own Eat, Drink, Smoke Kinsey glasses coming out soon. Oh, that's sexy as a mother.
a nice little bit of brown sugar right away.
Are you kidding? Oh my goodness. 115 proof, my ass.
Right. There's nothing.
There's zero ethanol. There is zero punch. Brown sugar's a nice play there, by the way. Almost sugar pie. There's a little bit of citrus going on.
Not getting much in the way of oak, but that's okay. This is very pleasant on the nose.
Nah, man. Can I ask, what if I said that is a very vanilla-esque cinnamon roll? Because I'm saying like a sugar pie, and maybe I'm thinking a little bit more baked good.
Okay.
That is unbelievable. That is the nicest nose we've done all year. Period. And wherever the rye spice is, 95% rye, it's not on the nose. But Fingers, enough chit-chat and jibber-jabber. You ready for this?
I'm ready to drink the Empire. Well, Queensryche for you right there.
Wow, I would not have guessed that. Fingers Malloy is doing what's known as the Kentucky Chew. Taking a sip of the juice, he almost spit it out. Oh my God. Is it the lip? Is it the lip? He bit his lip earlier today, and it's stinging the bit lip, which is all sorts of inflamed. And if you think it sounds gross, you should see it happen live, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God.
It's being picked up on local radar. It's so big.
By the way, you just got rid of all the germs.
Yeah.
You are now fully sterilized right there.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful though. There's rye there, man. You would never in a million years think this was over 100 proof. There's pepper. You're getting oak. There's something else there that I can't put my finger on. But that rye, pepper, and oak, and it's not as sweet to me on the palate is the nose. So there's one more. I just can't put my finger on it, but that's what I'm getting with a wounded mouth.
So this is, I believe this is, it's at least aged 4 years. I know that much. The Redwood Empire. This is the Emerald like green, Emerald Giant cask-strength. Are you crying?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. So I was gonna say Fingers Malloy was doing the Kentucky Chew, taking the juice, moving it around the palate, getting an idea of the flavors.
I did that to my lip.
I believe in the 2 sips theory. The first sip to set the taste buds. The second sip to really get an idea of flavors. I'm going in, Fingers, to you and yours.
To me and mine, he's going in, ladies and gentlemen. He's building an empire. He's doing the old Saginaw Swish. Memphis Punch.
Damn. Oh my gosh.
You getting the list out right now?
This is the list right now. This is it. Are you kidding me? Going in for the second.
Oh, good for you. He's going back in, ladies and gentlemen, and he's doing what we like to call the Memphis Munch, the Chattanooga Chomp.
I had to swallow that hard to get some idea of feel on the chest. There's no heat. 115 proof. There is no heat in the chest. That is luscious. Oh my gosh, that is luscious, isn't it? I don't know what that. Maybe that's a chocolate. Maybe that's a chocolate that's happening, almost a chocolate cream that's taking place right there. I know that at Redwood Empire, their site, Redwood Empire Whiskey with an E, redwoodempirewhiskey.com, they say Earl Grey tea. That's beyond me. I don't get that in the slightest.
So you're saying it's a chocolate, like maybe like a Big Sips?
No, it is a. There's a little bit of spice on the finish there, and there is a warmth, but not a heat. That is outstanding. The problem I have is there's no rye.
Oh, see, I got a little bit of rye spice on there. Little. Hint. Hint? No?
So I use, and I will do the comparison later. I use as the standard bearer for rye, not the rye I made, which is recovery rye, but I made a rye a few years back. I use Pikesville rye as the baseline. Pikesville rye, pound for pound, extraordinary, perfect on the price. Yes, it's in your liquor cabinet. It's always in my liquor cabinet. This is a very different beast. It's a very different beast. I don't even put it in the rye category. This is tremendous. It is tremendous what is happening right here from the people at Redwood Empire. That is absolutely. If that's not on my list, I have failed you. Also, no guarantees it'll be on my list. That is outstandingly 115 proof my butt.
There's no way.
That's the easiest thing I have had in a while. Now, is it in the liquor cabinet? Let's talk price. That's coming up. Keep it here. This is Eat, Drink, Smoke. So we warned you. We told you that as we're recording early. We do not know what is going to happen vis-a-vis the statements from President Trump regarding any further attacks on Iran. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz, and that is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. And we're not here to get into the politics of it. We avoid politics for the sake of this show. But if they're talking about it in the cigar lounge, we're talking about it here. And absolutely, this is something we're talking about. So we brought up earlier that we don't know what could be happening by the time you hear the show, whether it's a podcast or whether you're listening on your radios as we're heard from coast to coast. Go to eatdrinksmokeshow.com. We will soon have the full affiliate list up there so you can get it where you are. And if you don't have it on your local radio station, you can demand it. And as we're doing the show, and we're what's going to happen? It was Tuesday and 8 p.m. and that was a deadline. And a deadline for what? And power plants and bridges. And you can argue whether you agree, disagree, like, don't like, what have you. The president puts out a statement. The statement reads, and I'm going to read it to you in full. based on conversations with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Field Marshal Asim Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran, and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. On behalf of the United States of America as president and also representing the countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem closed to resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter, which he always writes. President Donald J. Trump. Now, there is a tremendous amount in here that is worthy of dissection. Now, we just got this. We just did this. So this statement, as we're talking to you, and we recorded on a Tuesday this week, as you can guess, is not an hour old. Do you want to start, Fingers, or do you want me to start?
Well, I should say at this point, like you said, we are literally talking about this. A statement was released an hour ago. We're recording on Tuesday. Since then, the bombing has started and stopped 6 times.
Stop it.
What?
It is absolutely possible. But this is our first take, our first read of the statement. If we were sitting in the lounge, well, we're sitting in the studio, same difference. What would be the first thing you say of this statement?
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I think that's a very legitimate and acceptable thing to hear.
And here's the second thing I would like to ask that there's no clarification on. Is this a ceasefire just between the United States and Iran? Will Iran continue to try to send missiles over and bomb Israel? Don't have an answer to that yet. And will that be considered the breaking of a ceasefire if we see some missiles head over to Israel?
So it's not just Israel. It's the UAE, United Arab Emirates, and others. You have the Houthi rebels, which are in Yemen, which are sponsored by Iran. They're trying to engage, utilizing their firepower as a choke-off point to the Red Sea, further destabilizing shipping in the region. If you're going to talk about opening the Strait of Hormuz, first, you do it without Europe, without any other NATO nations. It is a power play in that direction for Trump. I just don't know if it's one that has long-term benefits. But opening up the strait is clearly about reducing oil prices, which is what the markets are concerned about and everybody else is going to have a concern about, because the higher the oil price, the higher the gas prices, the more you pay for everything, because that's shipping. Right? Trucks are going all over the place. They're paying more for diesel. So that is of huge concern. But this does not explain, because it's said in a very, very broad way, we received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the U.S. and Iran. We don't have an answer for, does any level of this or any part of this regime stay? What happens to the people? What happens to giving up all their uranium? Are they going to walk it out to us? They're 60% enriched uranium, and that's how you're able to create a nuclear weapon? Are we going to be able to walk in unmolested to do just that? I mean, there's a ton of questions not answered remaining from this, and I think your point is the right point. And that's not negative, right? It's not. It's rational. I'll believe it when I see it.
It's called being a realist. I mean, I'm supposed to believe that the Iranians are going to play ball, negotiate a deal, and then stick to it. That's a huge leap of faith there.
Let's follow up. Who in the world are we negotiating with?
That's the other thing.
Who are the Pakistanis negotiating with? And then now there's also a word that how this came to be was China saying to Iran, you need to be more amenable. There's a lot of oil that China gets from Iran, and they are a thirsty country. So was pressure placed from China to Iran to say, you've lost a big part of this. You have to stop. We need our oil, and we're not going to be able to protect you. There's also a lot of talk about China and possibly Russia helping Iran reconstitute a missile program, which would blow up everything. I don't mean to say that as a bad use of words right there. Blow up everything.
Yeah.
But I want to feel good about the strait getting reopened, if indeed it does happen. I want to feel good about the idea of this being done and finished and complete. But it's only to the extent that anything with an Islamic regime hell-bent on your destruction can be done and finished and complete. And then going back to what we just discussed, I don't know who we're negotiating with. I have no idea.
No, but the markets feel good about it. It's amazing just how one statement released on Truth Social can have an impact on the markets. I look 45 minutes after the statement was released and oil was already down $7 a barrel.
Yeah.
And
Lord only knows what the morning is going to be and what's going to happen throughout the week. And certainly it's going to be, okay, good news. Now show me the free flow. Show me Iran was charging people $2 million a tanker to be able to get safe passage through. Show me none of that. No bribery culture kind of stuff. It's just, this news was breaking, was happening. We just wanted to make sure, didn't want to ignore it. Didn't want to be that guy.
Well, and we've talked about it in the past. It's so challenging when you have such an event like this happening and we pre-record the show. You have to talk about it. You want to talk about it because it's happening. These discussions are being taking place in cigar lounges across the country. It's such a huge event, but you don't want to talk too much about it because everything can change within 5 minutes.
And that's the only caveat we're going to give to it. This literally, as we're recording, just came out, gave you our first takes, and absolutely none of this could matter in 4 days. And that is crazy. That is crazy. But I think a lot of people, I mean, this is a whole nother conversation. I think the country's forgotten what a war is and what winning is. And that's a worthy conversation in and of itself. We'll get to that another time. Keep it here. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. Eat, Drink, Smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That's Fingers Malloy. Smoking from Espinosa, the Murcielago. Yeah. That's it. 6x52 box press Mexican San Andreas Nicaraguan in the binder and the filler. It's big. Maybe it's not as big as I remember, but it's a big bold smoke. It is a full bodied smoke that spice has picked up, which it almost has a little bit of heat. It's almost a little touch of red pepper is where I would take it here. But I certainly like Mexican San Andreas, but the normal sweetness that comes off of that is tempered by the strength here. I think that this is a big smoke. Do you not get that, or you don't feel that?
I would see medium to full, but I've had a little trouble here at the end keeping mine lit. Other than that, it's been fantastic. It burned very evenly until I got to the final third where I've had to touch it up a couple of times. At $11 a stick, $11. I'd like to have a wide variety of stuff in my humidor. I would definitely have this, especially at that price point. It's in my humidor.
Yeah, I think that there are people who are attracted to the bolder, attracted to those the bigger flavors there, and the spice in this, and that little bit of that Mexican San Andreas chocolate going on there, which is there, which I think it does. It tempers the whole thing. This is in humidors. It's not in mine because it's not that this bigness is not where I want to be. But is there anything wrong with it? No, not in the slightest. I was talking about the Laranja from Espinosa is much more where I would like to be. That flavor works for me better. Nice stick, nicely done, all together. And then we get into the rye. Now we are drinking from Redwood Empire. We have got here the Emerald Giant Rye Whiskey cask-strength. This was, without the cask-strength, the Emerald Giant Rye Whiskey from Redwood Empire. Fingers Malloy, we did this last year. It was on his top 3 list for the year. This is the cask-strength, coming in at 115.4 proof. The neat was spectacular. I'm going back in.
Oh, look at you. He's going in for thirds. I keep wanting to call it the Glen Karen, Glen Ross glass.
That is luscious. There's a touch of orange going on right there. There is this, it's so incredibly pretty. I almost want to say it's like a baked good. There's like there's a vanilla-y cinnamon roll, but maybe it's a little more caramel. I think it is tremendous. Now I've got my cube right here. I'm going to regret putting it on the cube. That's how good I think it is.
Why would you regret that?
Because it's very yummy.
Wow.
It's yummy in my tummy.
Wow.
I'm going in. There it is.
Oh.
That's the sign of freshness right there. I'm going in, got it on the cube. Remember, so ice or water, what it does is it brings down the proof at 115. You're bringing that down, but there is no proof hit. There is no ethanol in the nose. The nose is luscious. The drink is spectacular. Wonderful is this, the Redwood Empire. This is the Emerald Giant's rye whiskey. But my downside, it's not, you can tell me it's rye. It's 95% rye in the mash bill. That rye spice is slight for me.
Yeah, I get it.
Not fully there. But water brings down the proof. It'll open up some flavors, mute some other ones. Fingers added a little bit of water to his. I'm going in.
He's going back in, ladies and gentlemen, and he's got it on the big cube. And oh no,
unbelievable.
Oh, okay, good.
It brought up a little bit of spice. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Let me say it again. It's unbelievable.
Oh,
good for you.
All right, I'm going.
All right, he's going in. He had a little bit of water. Oh, his whole lip thing is bothering him. Right? It actually picked up the heat a little bit. It did. Oh, man, I can feel it center chest now. What a delayed thing to happen. All right, maybe I can pick up the people at Redwood Empire said there was a little bit of a tea. Maybe I can grab a little bit of that now.
Okay, I said a little bit of rye spice. There was there was oak, right, pepper. To me, that brought out a little bit of citrus and maybe a hint on the finish of cinnamon. Maybe a hint. I'm telling you, this is forget about top 10 or top 3 of the year. This may be some of the best juice we've ever had, like period, throughout the whole show's existence.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculously good. But as the idea of a rye,
if you're not going to hand this to a traditional rye drinker.
Yeah, right. It's not. But it's not like Basil Hayden dark rye, which is a totally different kind of math altogether. It's not that. But arguably somewhere in the middle.
I'll tell you.
Somewhere in the middle.
And you sit there for, it's about, a minute since I took my sip. Now I'm getting that kind of that vanilla cinnamon roll kind of, it's more than just a little hint of cinnamon at the end. There's so much going on here, and all of it's good.
Is it in your liquor cabinet? The Redwood Empire Emerald Giant's rye whiskey, cask strength, for $74 a bottle.
Absolutely.
100%. It's not even a question.
And for me, that's a huge splurge.
It's a huge splurge for anybody.
I know, but you're usually money shmoney. I don't care.
This much is true. Got this shirt from Costco. But yeah. That is outstanding. Outstanding. I'm overjoyed. Thank you for the gift. You know who you are. That is something else.
Yeah.
That is something special.
I mean, at $75 a bottle.
74.
Oh, well, 74 then. It's definitely in my liquor cabinet.
There it is. But it's time, Fingers Malloy, for news of the week.
So I'm going to bring up the story, and I know you're going to say, Fingers, why are you bringing this up? This is becoming more of a national trend. Gas-powered leaf blower bans take effect for residents in 2 more Massachusetts towns. There are 2 towns in Massachusetts that are continuing to hammer down on gas leaf blower bans. One in particular, let's go over the violations and the fines. Lexington, Massachusetts. You face a fine of $50 for your first violation of using this gas-powered leaf blower, $100 for a second violation, and $200 for a third and subsequent violation of this gas leaf blower ban.
Is this about noise or is this about gas?
They're saying it's about noise.
No, it's not. You know that moment where you know you're being lied to? This is that moment. This is that moment. You are flat out being lied to.
So this opens up another discussion as well that we could have besides, the obvious that, to me, this is ridiculous that they're banning these. But some people, and I understand why, they get upset when someone fires one of these bad boys up at 7 a.m. Now, when is too early for your neighbor to fire up the lawnmower, fire up the gas leaf blower on, say, a Saturday morning? When are you saying to yourself, my goodness, I'm trying to catch some Z's, and Frank next door, he's got to have his lawn perfect, and he wants to get it done early. He fires his lawnmower up at 7:30 in the morning. When is too early?
Anything before 9 a.m. On Saturday, anything before noon on Sunday.
I know some cities have ordinances when it comes to this stuff, but how strictly are they really enforced?
Well, it should be enforced by the neighbor, and you should be allowed to throw things at somebody who is mowing their lawn at 7:30 in the morning.
Examples of things you are allowed to throw at your neighbor as they're mowing their lawn at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Things that are both heavy and sharp. Heavy and sharp.
That's the key, right? Heavy, that just doesn't do it. Heavy and sharp. Yeah, that scratches the itch.
9 a.m. on Saturday, noon on Sunday.
Glad we got this all cleared up.
I have spoken. Eat, drink, smoke. Self-driving car hits duck.
Film at 11.
Eat, drink, smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. I already have an issue with the whole driverless car insanity, and people love this stuff, and they want to push this stuff, and they just can't get enough of this stuff. And no, it's all super creepy. And the idea that we want big rigs being self-driving freaks me out. But this story is out of Austin. They've got a story here where there's an autonomous vehicle company. They're investigating an incident. Witnesses report one of their self-driving vehicles struck and killed a duck near a park. So people are like, are these cars going to kill us? The vehicle, Avride, A-V-R-I-D-E, did not slow down as it drove through the park area and struck and killed a duck that was resting nearby. It was nesting nearby. We could say this is a bad idea. Sorry, Elon, bad idea.
But, ladies and gentlemen,
who
among us has not at some point struck a duck near a park?
Dude.
What?
Dude.
What?
Most of us.
Oh.
I'm not saying all of us.
This is a horrible idea. I've got a friend. She was recently in, I believe it was the Phoenix area, and got one of these driverless. It wasn't Lyft, but just to use that reference, yeah, that picked her up and took her to the airport, and there was no driver, and there's no way I can ever get behind the idea of getting into a vehicle like that. I would be terrified the whole way, because you're relying on technology that sensors, something could go wrong with the sensor, something could go wrong with the connection between the car and whatever satellite system is guiding it with directions. It all just sounds like a terrible idea. And like you said, now we're talking about doing this with semis.
Freaks me out. Now, there's a second part to this story.
Oh.
Which is the witnesses said that the vehicle failed to stop at a stop sign. I cannot stop the technology from coming, but I can at least complain about it loudly. And that should, That's the amount of self-soothing that I'm going to have to do here. I can't stop this from happening. It's running stop signs and killing ducks.
Yeah, and then you hear, when you have these situations, you have a spokesman. I'm not saying that they said this exactly, but the technology is still growing. It's still learning. Right. So was the duck. And it was killed in cold blood by some runaway vehicle, never to quack again. I don't know what world we're living in. Nobody was thinking of the ducks.
ASPCA, send your emails to fingers@eatdrinksmokeshow.com. And you too, PETA. You too, PETA.
Here I had a heartfelt moment.
That might be the funniest thing you've ever said in all the time that I've known you. Oh, God, good Lord. Meanwhile, at Lowe's, I didn't know that Lowe's had a foundation. I guess every company that's of this level and scale has a foundation. They are putting a $250 million investment to train and develop 250,000 tradespeople over the next decade. Yeah, smart investment because you need people buying stuff from Lowe's.
Yes.
No, Ford was saying they need 5,000 mechanics. They don't have them. When we talk about tradespeople, we're really talking about people who are willing to sweat for a living.
Yeah.
I mean, that is what we're talking about here. I do get myself concerned. For a long time, we told everybody to learn to code. You got to learn to code. You should be coding. Learn to code. We need coders. Learn to code. And then here comes AI. And now coders are being laid off and coder jobs are not there. And it's still learning. But eventually, it will be able to do the job extremely well. You'll still need a little bit of human touch for possibly some finesse. The skill positions are not going to go away. My father, rest his soul, had begged me to become a plumber because, and I'll clean it up for radio, Tony, you can't crap on the internet.
Well, actually, you can.
No. You could show other people doing it, but you can't. In the end, even the internet billionaire, of which there is one, right? For every people just making a good living, they need the toilet fixed, the HVAC fixed, the car fixed, everything else. These things do indeed matter. It's just a different lifestyle. And some people are going to say it doesn't have the glam factor. Savings, investments, and vacations, and knowing where your next meal's coming from, total glam factor.
It is hard finding people nowadays to be willing and actually enjoy to work with their hands. Because like you said, for too long, we have encouraged young people that they just need to go to college and they need to stay away from jobs like these. They need to either become a small business owner, and there's, of course, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Work in an office. But I fear that I don't think it's too late, and I'm really happy that the Lowe's Foundation has made this decision that they're going to make this investment. But you talk to people who, say, work in industry factories that are looking for tradespeople that maybe 20 years ago, people would be lined up around the corner to get in, and it's becoming increasingly harder to find people who are willing to do that kind of work.
Part of that issue has been that we really did blind kids to the idea of, well, if you don't go to college, if you don't have a college degree, you don't count. Yeah. We did tremendous damage. And that is now, credit guys like Mike Rowe for really breaking that as if you will, a stigma. But that is opening this up. Associated Builders and Contractors estimate 349,000 net new construction workers are needed to meet demand this year alone.
Yeah, it's there. The need is everywhere, And hopefully we're going to start finding workers who are trained well enough to be able to step into those roles.
And when you have those jobs, you need to make sure you're getting plenty of protein. And that's why you need Defiance Beef, defiancebeef.com. I got my full cow. I bought another chest freezer. It's spectacular. I have two 13-pound briskets. How can I help you? I have hanger steak. I have flank steak. I have strips and tenderloins and ribeyes. I have chuck eyes. I've never made a chuck eye. I cannot wait. Tip roast and rump roast. And I have soup bones and stew meat and cube steak. It is, and hundreds of pounds of ground beef. DefianceBeef.com. From the Indiana farm directly to your door. Everything cut to your specifications. Frozen, individually packed, ready to go. Go to DefianceBeef.com. Use promo code EatDrinkSmoke. Get free shipping and a free mini share. That's extra meat for you and your family. Quarter cow, half cow, or full. DefianceBeef.com. Promo code EatDrinkSmoke. EatDrinkSmoke is the promo code. DefianceBeef.com. Get your cow. Eat 21-day aged. Spectacular. I'm going to dig it. It's going to be a great summer. Great summer.
We don't have time to get into it, but I got to hear how you got the full cow delivered to your front door.
15 boxes via UPS.
Seriously?
Yep.
Wow.
Everything with the packaging and the ice. Unbelievable. I'll tell you all about it next week. The Redwood Empire. This is the cask-strength Emerald Giant Rye Whiskey. Spectacular at $74 a bottle. And the Murcielago from Espinosa. The cigar, $11 a stick. Bigger than I like to do, but definitely worthy of the humidor. Go to Eat, Drink, Smoke Show and find everything. This is Eat, Drink, Smoke.
Follow Eat, Drink, Smoke on social media. On Twitter, @Go Eat, Drink, Smoke. On Facebook, facebook.com/Eat, Drink, Smoke. And Instagram, @Eat, Drink, Smoke Podcast.
How about hello, hello, hello?
Please don't vertigo. Hello, hello. Oh, please don't vertigo. I don't know the rest of the words to this song, but it's U2 and it's Bono. Goofy hat. Goofy hat.
Excellent.